And good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here taking a look at a storm that we're keeping track of down in Walthall County, a new tornado warning in effect. This one just off to the south, Tylertown and Lexi. This one's moving off to the northeast at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. A lot of the storms out there today are going to be moving pretty quick. The one in Walthall right now is about 11 miles north of Franklinton, located 7 miles south of Tylertown. This one moving officially at 30 miles an hour from the National Weather Service in Slidell. Of course, if you've been watching all day, you know that across the area, tornado watch in effect across basically the entire Pine Belt for the rest of this afternoon into the evening, and for some folks into the overnight hours. For folks that are in some of our western counties, that goes for Walthall and Lawrence County. You guys are under the gun right now. The reason we're getting on TV is to let you guys know in Walthall County that there is a new tornado warning again in effect, and this one is until 4:45 this afternoon, until 4:45. So it's a reasonably short tornado warning. Generally, they go for 45 minutes to an hour. This one's only 30 minutes because the National Weather Service has actually watched this storm cycle a couple of times. It's went up, had the opportunity to perhaps be producing a tornado, then kind of weakened a little bit, then got stronger again. Because it's bouncing back and forth, this tornado warning is going to be a little bit shorter than the normal tornado warnings that we get on the air for. The reason that we're jumping on perhaps a little early is because we want to give folks downstream from this storm in Marion County an opportunity to get an early heads up. So for you folks in Kokomo, up toward Foxworth, Columbia, and Pickwick, even as far north as Morgantown, and as far south as just off to the north of Sandy Hook. I think you folks in Sandy Hook probably don't have much to worry about with this storm eventually. We want to give you guys an early heads up. And again, for tornado warnings, like we always say, get to the most interior section of your home as best you can. I like interior closets, interior bathrooms are even better. And protect yourself by getting yourself a helmet, taking some pillows and blankets with you, and head to that interior space and stay there until this tornado warning comes to an end for your area. As we kind of zoom in here a little bit tighter, we're looking pretty high in the clouds, but you can see a pretty stout couplet in here. It's what we like to call it when we get these colors that are right next to each other in here. So your area of circulation is going to be in this ballpark again, just off to the south of Tylertown there. You can see that while it's not quite, while it's bright, it's not a very wide couplet. So this is going to be a pretty small storm. So for you folks that are north in Tylertown, you're probably looking off to the south at some pretty dark clouds. And again, your area of circulation is going to be kind of right in there. You guys are looking off to the south at some pretty dark clouds, but this may not be directly impacting you. You're in the polygon here from the National Weather Service, so we need you to take cover. But I will say, for the most part, the worst part of this storm, again, you can still get bad stuff happen to you even if you're not in the worst part. The worst part of this storm is a little further off to your south. You folks in Dexter downstream from this, keep a lookout for this. It'll be in your neck of the woods at 427 in Kirkland. Right on top of you guys right now, 414. That's where we're at right now. It's about 415. So again, take cover, put as much stuff between you and this storm as you possibly can, and make sure that you're doing what you can to protect yourself from what's happening outside. We're till 5:15. So for you folks a little further off to the north in Prentice and Monticello, you folks are dealing with a much more robust storm. And so for you folks that are to the north in Monticello and down 84 toward Prentice, points nearby, points between, even as far north as New Hebron, and probably as far south as, let me get in here a little bit tighter, yeah, as far south as the Arm community. I need you guys to take cover from Monticello to Silver Creek to Prentice. This storm is moving a little bit slower. This one's going 35 miles an hour as opposed to the 40 miles an hour that some of these storms have been going for today. But this thing is just full, just chock full of lightning. So even if you don't get the tornado, you're still talking about 400 strikes of lightning in the last 5 minutes with this storm. So this is a very electric storm. So even again, if you're not getting the tornado, you're still going to get a fair amount of rain, a whole mess of lightning, and some pretty gusty wind out of this as well. We can switch over to our velocity here, and you can see that we've got a couple areas of interest in here. The main area of concern that we're keeping tabs on is going to be kind of right in here. And again, this one's riding off to kind of the east-northeast at 35 miles an hour. So if we were to take a storm track on that, you've got Monticello by 4:30, Ferguson by 4:37, Silver Creek by 4:43, White Sand by 4:50. You folks in Prentice by 4:55. So that gives you folks about 30 to 40 minutes on that one. Carson by 5:01, Clem by 5:07, and Dean by 5:13. Brandon is keeping tabs on the latest from the National Weather Service. And do we have any new information about anything coming out of Marion County over there from the Jackson National Weather Service by chance, since they're downstream from that storm?
So far, Nick, nothing new. Just from what you covered, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located east of Lincoln, and so that was at 4:14 that they posted that, east of Brookhaven, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. But they're keeping an eye on that storm across Walthall, nearing Marion County.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. So again, the National Weather Service keeping tabs on all of this. The reason that you've got two different National Weather Service offices is you've got one National Weather Service office that controls this area over here. That's Slidell, and a different National Weather Service office that does the folks in Marion County. You folks are from Jackson, so you've got two different National Weather Service offices having to coordinate with each other to spread this tornado warning downstream if they so choose. If they do go downstream with that warning, that tornado warning would include you folks in Columbia. That would include you folks in Foxworth and in Pickwick. And unfortunately, you folks in Marion County know all too well about dealing with tornadic weather this time of the year. We're coming up just about a week away from the anniversary 5 years ago of the EF3 that went through Columbia. So if you folks are new to the area, if you're watching this, you're new to the area, you just moved here in the last couple of years, you just settled in Columbia, Foxworth, anywhere in Marion County, frankly, just know that this is not an uncommon event, and this is something that I hope that you all are prepared for, and do what you can to protect yourself from what's happening outside. So we've got two tornado warnings. I'm going to highlight them here. They're highlighted in red from the National Weather Service. Those are the polygons, but I'll highlight it in yellow here just to kind of give it some extra oomph. For you folks in, again, Lawrence County and Jeff Davis County, from Monticello down through Silver Creek and toward Prentice. And again, I said about as far south as the ARM community. I need you folks to take cover and do what you can to put as much stuff between you and that storm as you can right now. Interior room, interior bathroom, interior closet. Take a helmet with you if you got a bike helmet, motorcycle helmet. The kids got football helmets or softball helmets, baseball helmets, something. Get to that safe place. Further to the south in Walthall County, again, you folks in Tylertown are probably okay out of this, but the rest of Walthall County south of 98, you need to be taking cover right now. And as it moves into Marion County, as Brandon just passed along to us from the National Weather Service in Jackson, they're keeping tabs on this one to see if they need to toss this thing downstream and into parts of Marion County. But I'll tell you folks in Columbia, now may be a good time to double check your surroundings. Make sure that that interior bathroom, closet, or room is clear of things so you can get in there and hang out for a little while. Maybe double check to make sure that your phones have been charged up okay. Maybe grab a tablet or something for the kids to hang out and do while you're in your safe place for a little bit. So I think we're getting a damage report in. No, we're getting hail report in. And this is one thing. Was that $50 hail? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, that's right, Nick.
We got $50 hail near, was it Allen Road there, just outside of Lincoln. Hail was one of the things today that we talked about over the weekend. Today we could actually see some up to quarter or perhaps even larger hail. And there you go. You've got a $50 sized hail on the ground in Lincoln. And that is, again, with that northern storm, that circle toward the top of your screen. That storm, again, lightning, rain. Now we know hail is falling out of that storm. So whether you get the tornado or not, you're also going to have to deal with a whole mess of lightning, some wind gusts up over 50 to 60, perhaps even approaching 70 miles an hour, as well as you're going to have to deal with hail now. Brandon